Mike Schmaltz, Rich Hoyt, and Xavier's head women's basketball coach Brian Neal here after a hard-fought Musketeer victory 55-47 over the Butler Bulldogs here to start the second half of the conference season. It's always tough to beat a team the second time around. Butler shorthanded, gave you a tough test tonight, and it started with a good 2-3 zone from them.
Yeah, well, both teams needed to win. I mean, both teams are hungry. They're both on a little bit of a losing streak, and so you're fighting for your life out here. And I thought that's the way Butler played, and the zone was very effective. It slowed us down. You know, we were doing great against the man-to-man to start the game, and the zone was very effective. It slowed us down. We weren't doing a very good job. I didn't think we were shooting the ball very confidently. I thought we were settling, and with Obert in the middle, she is a shot blocker, so it's very difficult to get anything going inside, outside. So thank goodness for Leah Zant, who finally got that stroke on and just pulled this sucker out.
Leah Zant, when you have a zone, you need a zone buster. Leah Zant was just that tonight for the Musketeers. 24 points, ties a career best, 6 for 10 from three-point range, 8 of 15 from the floor. And you got to love what your senior did here tonight to carry you.
Well, that's exactly right. And it was one of those affairs where not too many of our kids were playing that good. And so, but it is a team game, and sometimes you just have to figure out a way through the course of 30-something games of just grinding a couple out. And there's a lot of them that are not pretty, and this one certainly wasn't. But it's on the stat sheet, it looks just fine to me.
13th home victory tonight for the Musketeers.
Coach, you're down going into the fourth quarter and kind of on the ropes a little bit, and I thought one of the key stretches was the start of that fourth quarter where you were able to get a couple stops right away. Aaliyah was able to get a layup, knock down a three-pointer, which ended up tying the game and really switched the momentum there in the fourth quarter.
Well, we got some transition. I think the turning point is when they called a flagrant foul or whatever that was on Aaliyah Zant, and that got me a little bit motivated, and I think it got our team going a little bit. So after that, our energy was better, and that's when our defense kicked in. But and then when we were able to get some transition and some kicks for shots, of course Leah made most of those, but I think that was the big key.
Talk a little bit more about Leah Zant. We saw a lot of her games, steals, transition, layups, and the threes were really an added bonus, but always nice to have them.
Well, she does all the little things, and some. I mean, she's always in the right position, and when you're in a good position, good things usually happen. And we had some people who couldn't get there until the fourth quarter, and then we were all tied, you know, in like a cohesive unit. But for a while, we were like 5 individuals out there. And when you get on your heels, your proverbial heels, it's hard to play. I probably say that to you guys every time we talk. But once we tightened up and started being aggressive, then their shots weren't falling so easily. You know, their posts are catching fire. Then they get down 3, 4, 5 points. Then all of a sudden, they're bouncing off of there. So, you know, we turned the momentum, and then luckily did a good enough down the stretch to get the win.
Butler scores just 1 point in the fourth quarter, so your defense really stepped up in the quarter. I thought 2 players that really gave you great defensive efforts didn't have good offensive nights, but Rayshawn Gaffney was one of those. She was just at 1 for 11, but she shut down a really good player in Blair Langlois. And then I thought Leah Schaefer, especially in that fourth quarter, did a really nice job defensively inside.
Yeah. And getting some rebounds for us. Leah was huge, but, you know, Jenna, if you let Buck and Langlois, they're such great shooters that you have to put so much attention on them, but that makes it almost one-on-one. There's not much help for those other guys, so they're turning the corner driving on us with their bigs, and then they're kicking their bigs were knocking down shot after shot, but we had their guards locked up, but I almost thought we put too much attention on them, and their posts made us pay for sure. But they also had some matchup situations where we had our bigs out guarding people who could drive it, and so we just got us on our heels, and luckily it was a 40-minute game, and it wasn't a 30-minute game.
Leah Schaefer with 11 boards. Madison Blackwell, 13 boards. That was a game best.
Yeah. I thought she's had a great week, and she started us off, made some buckets early, but she was pretty engaged today, and she's been struggling for the last, 2, 3, 4 games, but her aggressiveness came back out this week, and she was big defensively because you got to have mobile people who can cover on the perimeter like that when their post can shoot and drive, and so she was huge.
You won't have a Sunday game, so some time to work. You get back to a 2-game stretch next weekend. What are you going to work on this week?
Well, I'm going to see my beloved Spurs play in Cleveland tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm going up there and taking my son up, so we're going to do that. And then every game's different in the Big East, and, there's so many styles of play, so many strategy things. So we'll just get back to work and get ready for Providence, who gave us everything plus up there. So it'll be another this league is unbelievable. So we'll just get back to work on Monday.
Whatever you do when you're up in Cleveland, don't take any interview notes from Pop while you're up there, okay?
Listen, I could very well do that, but I just try to be a little bit – I don't have any 5 championship rings like he does. But if I did, I might.
The answer to that is yes for Brian Neal. For Rich Hoyt, Brian Neal, Musketeers with a hard-fought victory over the Butler Bulldogs. Join us next week right here at Cintas Center for the Musketeers in Providence. Follow us all season long on GoXavier.com.